Assalamu alaikum everyone, and welcome to my channel if you are new, and welcome back if you've been here before. My name is Emma and it is time to get into this video. So what is this video all about? So today we are going to be talking about the halal way to date. Now you guys might be thinking, wait, date?
Wonderful.
That doesn't make sense. And some of you who aren't Muslim might be thinking, well, what is halal dating? What does that even mean? So for those of you who don't know what halal means, it means permissible within Islam. For instance, pork is haram, which means it is not permissible. So you can't have that. But marshmallows, for instance, without pork-based gelatin are halal. They are permissible. So hopefully that makes sense. So there is a way to date within Islam. A lot of people think, oh, well, no, you meet one day and decide to get married and that's that on that. That is one way to get married, but there are ways to get to know one another first that are halal. So just full disclosure, I had a haram relationship before I got married, but I was not Muslim at the time, and so this is all knowledge that I have learned, that I've gained, and that I would want for my children to implement and for friends to implement and all of that. So I just want you guys to be aware of that. So you want to make sure that you're not setting yourself up for failure. So what does failure mean? Does it mean the relationship isn't going anywhere? Does it mean that you're going to break up? Like, what is failure? I would definitely consider failure as your heart getting broken or not being able to move forward. So although not being able to move forward, I wouldn't necessarily consider that a failure, because you do need to have certain standards, and if somebody is not up to your standards and you say, thank you, next, that doesn't make it a failure. Do you know what I mean? So I would consider your heart breaking and not being able to see that person because of your heart being so broken and so upset. I think that's a better way to describe it. So one of the things that sets you up for failure is if you're kissing and touching and stuff like that before marriage. You do not want to do that. That is for marriage. And some of you who aren't Muslim might be thinking, oh my gosh, that's ridiculous. Why can't you just kiss and stuff? Because that sets you up for failure further down the line. So kissing and holding hands and stuff like that causes an attachment, a deep emotional attachment. And if you don't know if this person is going to be the one that you marry, creating that emotional bond just doesn't make sense. Why bother creating that emotional bond if you don't even know if it's going to work? Now, a lot of you might be saying, well, you should date around because then you'll have more experience and you'll know what you want and you'll know what you like and all of that. And it sounds rosy and sounds fantastic, but when you really look at it, it's not great. So why do I say that? Well, first of all, it leads to unnecessary heartbreak. So if you are just dating for no reason, which is kind of my next point, if you're dating for no reason and you're dating just to date and just to get experience, your heart is going to end up broken because either you're going to end up breaking up with them or they're going to end up breaking up with you, and you're going to be sad, and there's just going to be all these feelings of disappointment and being upset. And what is the point in having all of that? What do you gain from that? That just seems like it would harm you in the long run. Do you know what I mean? And like I said, dating for no reason just doesn't make sense to me. I don't get it. Why are you dating just to date? Shouldn't you be dating with the intention of meeting the person you want to spend the rest of your life with? Right? If you are dating just because you want experience, that just doesn't seem like a healthy relationship. And knowing what you want shouldn't be about intimate relationships. That shouldn't be what you the only thing that you want to know. You need to know deep down in your heart what you want out of a relationship in a more practical manner. Like, how do you want to do finances? How do you want to raise your kids? How do you want to treat each other when there is an argument or a disagreement that comes up? Things like that. That should be what you're focusing on. What you want should not just be about the bedroom, right? Don't you think so? I think so. So then that leads me to, well, what is halal dating? Also, sorry, my camera's like really shaky right now. We'll need to figure out that situation. So sorry about that little interlude, but what is halal dating? So when you meet the person, you need to meet them with the intention of getting married. Your intention needs to be, this is the person I'm going to spend my life with. You're not going into it because you think they're handsome, or you think she's pretty, or you want to date around or something. You need to go into it with the intention of, I want to get married, and that is the person who I'm thinking about marrying. The best way to go about talking to this person is meeting up in a public place, like a coffee shop or the library, or walking around a bookstore, or even just taking a walk, something like that. Meeting up in public so intimate things do not happen. You don't want to meet at the other person's house. Absolutely not. Not at all. You can also meet up with your friends and family, or friends or family, or I guess both if you want, but not everybody is comfortable doing that, Not everybody wants to bring their sister on their first date, or their best friend on the first date. Meeting up in a public place with the person is probably the best way to go about it. But that actually goes for future dates too. All of your dates that you go on while you're meeting this person and learning more about them and getting to know them, they need to be in a public place. Do not invite them to your house. Do not be alone with them. Okay, because that's just going to lead to you wanting to do things with them, and it's just, again, setting yourself up for failure. You do not want that to happen. While you're getting to know this person, there are a few things you need to ask. Like I said before, you need to talk about finances, raising kids, how you want to resolve arguments, cleanliness, things like that. You want to talk about all the things that make up a marriage. You want to make sure that everything is on the table. You guys know what you want out of this relationship. You're not just going into it blind, right? And the first thing you need to ask, whether you are a man, a woman, whatever, you need to ask, are we doing this with the intention of marrying each other? And if the other person says, no, I'm not intending to marry you, or they give like a wishy-washy answer like, well, I'm thinking about it, or that's something I am really thinking about with you. You want to hear a, yes, I'm going into this with the intention of getting married. And if you don't get that answer, you guys need to really sit down and think about why you're even in this relationship in the first place. Why are you together if you are not going to get married? And if you can't figure it out, if you realize you just want to be with that person because they look nice, you just want to spend time with them, well, no. You can't do that. You need to go in with the intention of getting married. A lot of people date because they don't want to be alone, or even sometimes get married because they don't want to be alone. And that's not healthy. That's not a good thing. Being alone sucks. It does. But sometimes it can be a beautiful, wonderful thing because you get to know yourself and get to see who you are as a person. You don't need to be with somebody. You don't need to have somebody with you at all times. You can be by yourself and it will be okay. Dating to not be alone is a temporary fix because it's going to end because you haven't gone into it with the right intentions, and you'll probably get bored, you'll probably get irritated once you realize that you didn't go into this because you wanted the marriage. You didn't go into this because you loved the other person. You went into it because you didn't want to be alone. That will end well. And again, I just want to reiterate, you do not need to date or get married like straight away. You might get pressured by aunties, by, just people in general saying, why aren't you married? Why aren't you married? You need to get married. But you don't need to. Spend time with yourself. Learn about yourself. Learn to love yourself. And then you can bring someone into your life. But if there's somebody who's trying to pressure you into dating them or marrying them, that is a problem. And if you need to get help, please do. If they're stalking you, sending you tons of messages that are potentially frightening you, get help. Because that's not normal and that's not okay. So before you get married, or date for that matter, you need to know what you want in a spouse, right? You need to know. So when you are getting to a point where you think you might be ready to get married, write down key things, important things. Don't write down, I want him to be 6'2" with brown hair and brown eyes and olive skin. No, don't worry about that. That's not important. That's very superficial. Looks are the least interesting thing about a person. What's inside is what matters. And so you need to be thinking about what's inside that person and what you want that's inside of them. So think about your future. Plan out your future. Plan out what's the perfect marriage for me look like. You're not going to have a perfect marriage. That's just not going to happen. We're all humans. He's perfect. But think about if you were to have a perfect relationship. Just pretend that could happen. And write down the things that would make that up. That would make that happen. Then talk to the other person about it. Talk to them about these things. See if they match up. And do not try to make them be something. Do not try and put them in a box. Do not try and fix them. If that's not who they really are, it's not the right match for you. And yeah, you might get sad because they're cute and stuff, but you need to know what you want out of a marriage, and you need to have these conversations right up front before you get emotionally attached or anything like that, because if they are not what you need and want, just get out of there. The last thing I want to say is that Allah is the only judge. If you have a haram relationship, I'm not going to judge you. That is your decision. That's your choice. That's what you want to do. But honestly, I think a halal relationship is the way to go. Allah will look at you with joy and pleasure and will most likely bless the marriage. So go into it halal, go into it with good intentions, and you will most likely have a great marriage. Now, of course, divorce does happen, sadly, and just want to remind you that women do have, in Islam, women do have the right to divorce. So if your man is telling you you're not allowed to divorce him, Islamically that's not correct, and just generally that's not correct. So if you feel it's not working, divorce should be the last option. Go through other steps first. Couples counseling, talking it through. Just try and make it work, and if it really can't work, then you can proceed to divorce. But do everything in your power to make it work before heading down that route. Alright, well, that's the end of that. I hope you enjoyed the video. Like and subscribe. Please subscribe again. I am back on YouTube, yay! But likes they really help my channel out, and if you are enjoying this kind of content, subscribe and you'll get to see more. Mondays I do Islamic content, and on Wednesdays I do lifestyle content, so you will get to see more of that. I update at 6:30 a.m. Pacific time, so that's when you can tune in to see my videos straight away if that's what you're into. And yeah, my Instagram will be down below. I did delete it previously, so unfortunately all my previous subscribers is YouTube, followers is Instagram, all my previous followers, they're all gone, all the photos all gone. I really should not have done that, but I did it. Sucks. Oh well. So if you want to follow my Instagram and keep updated on my life and what's going on, go ahead and do that. So I hope you have a great day, and I'll catch you later. Bye!